36 years of basketball knowledge and life skills. Your host, Coach Goins, focuses on today's topics on and off the court, helping players and coaches achieve their goals. So get ready for another fast break episode of Basketball More Than a Game with your host, Coach Goins.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another fast break episode of Basketball More Than a Game. Hey, listen, we are Facebooking live and we are live in the studio. Coach Goins is in Virginia, and I have on none other than the co-host of the year. As I entitled him, that's none other than Coach Mike Quick from via telephone from North Carolina. Quick, tell everybody hello if you don't mind.
Hello, glad to be here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so you hear him, folks. We've got him dialed into the studio, and we also got him live on Facebook. So we are, you know what, it is one of these episodes that, of course, you know, Mike being Mike, you know, Coach Quick being Coach Quick, you know, he's on the grind every day, all day. So he hits me in the office and says, hey, guess what? I said, what's going on? He said, man, there's some stuff popping, Coach. We gotta dial it up. So when I clear the office and I get him back in the horn, I said, guess what? And he goes, what? I said, man, we got to do a show. So that's what we had to do. Coach had to get in, get everything tight, and we dial it up. So folks that's on Facebook, we've got none other than Mr. Michael T. Quick via telephone, North Carolina, and I am in Virginia. And you, if you're on Facebook now, you're looking and say, man, you're in the studio? I call it my Steeler studio. I'm in the man cave where I do a lot of productions right here in VA, and we are nestled in. So listen, we all got some hot stuff popping, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and kick this thing down to North Carolina, and then we'll kick the, you know what, hold up, Coach. You know what, let me apologize to you, and let me apologize to our number one title sponsor, and that is Mr. Curtis T. Jackson. He is the broker agent benefits coordinator out of North Carolina. So for your insurance needs, make sure you dial up Mr. Curtis Jackson at area code 919-614-5796 for your insurance needs. And also he's serving the Commonwealth of Virginia. So call Mr. Curtis Jackson now before it's too late, and now you be looking for him for insurance. And your back is against the wall. So with that, now we've got some of the bills paid for, and again, we appreciate his continued support. I'm going to drop it on down to the hottest co-host this side of the planet, and that's none other than Coach Quick. Coach Quick, go ahead and give us some headlines, and we'll get into it, sir.
Yes, sir. Breaking news today coming out of the University of Louisville that head basketball coach Rick Pitino and athletic director Tom Jurek had been put on administrative leave, and with Coach Pitino effectively firing him. And sources have told me that Jurek was asked to fire Rick Pitino, and he refused to do it, so he was let go as well due to this launching FBI investigation into corruption in college basketball on yesterday.
You know what, folks, and you know what, let's call it what it is. It's an unfortunate time that this hits, because, you know, for those of you who don't know, college basketball will be alive and well October the 15th. And that means, you know, they're already, you know, doing a little preseason workouts and all that good stuff. But, you know, what a shame. And again, we'll call a spade, and we're going to keep it real here on Basketball More Than a Game like we always do. First of all, I just, you guys don't know how much I appreciate our co-host because, again, he's always on the grind. He's always looking for that cutting-edge story. So when he hit me up this morning about 10:30 with that breaking news, I knew we were going to come at you today, and we wanted to do a little different format, and that was do a podcast as well as a live shot video. And that's what we're doing this evening. So those of you that know people that are on, tell them to, you know, get on Facebook, check us out, and you can hear Coach Quick and Coach Goins talking about the hottest and greatest things that's going on in sports today. So you know what, Coach Quick, you're exactly right. You know what? Here's my call on that. You know, my question to the University of Louisville: why was he still there? You know, why was he still there with these allegations surfacing? The allegation of, we'll call them ladies of the night / the women that like to take their clothes off with the recruits. Prior to that, his whole infidelity, you know, episodes in the restaurant. So give me your opinion. Why you think this guy was, why you think Coach Pitino was allowed to hang around?
First and foremost, in my opinion, I think he was allowed to hang around just because of who he is. He's the legendary Rick Pitino. He's won a national championship at two major universities, University of Kentucky as well as U of L in 2013. And just his namesake has kept him around this long, you know, but I knew after a third scandal he would not survive this. and it's unfortunate, and I hate that for him because he's certainly a Hall of Fame coach in my opinion. Great coach. He does well with kids, and I just wish him the best in his future endeavors.
You know what? That's eloquently said, Mike, and we certainly appreciate that. You know, and unfortunately, you know, he's, you know, we're not the judge, we're not the jury, and that's not what we're doing here on Basketball More Than the Game. What we're doing, we're just trying to bring you the breaking news. We're trying to bring you a little insight. You know, nobody's perfect, but you know, and as it says, you know, those without seeing, you'll throw the first stone. But you know, when you're sitting in the ivory towers and you got everybody looking, and you know, you're making millions and millions of dollars, and you're influencing, you know, young men and to become boys to men, you know, there's a level of responsibility. There's a level of, you have to know what your staff is doing in order for you to be successful at any level. You know, so when, you know, if the head is corrupt, what do you got to do? You got to cut the head of the snake off. You know, so unfortunately, you know, he's in the middle of some very, very heavy stuff that comes down, and unfortunately, hopefully the NCAA will take a look at this. Because think about it, Mike. Let's frame this out. Say Mike Quick's a sophomore there, and all this goes down, and you decide you want to transfer. Will the NCAA allow you to transfer without sitting out? You know, not because you just want to transfer. You don't want the cloud around. You don't want to deal with. I mean, these are young men that's out playing the game, but now they're going to have to deal with, you know, the antics, the investigation. Did you know this, or did you? I mean, if it goes to that level. And again, you know, Coach Goins may be, you know, I may be trying to shoot a deep three from the cheap seats. You know, but in that, you know, you think about that. So, what would you do if you were a sophomore at the University of Louisville? You know, would you look at transferring, or would you want to kind of just work through the madness, if you will?
Well, Coach Goins, to be honest, I would have to do more research first and see who they're talking about bringing in as a head coach, and I would do my due diligence though with the NCAA to see if I could get a waiver to play right away. And I would actually consider transferring because, you know, this university is going to be put on probation this time, without a doubt. They're going to miss the postseason tournaments again. So I would definitely do my due diligence and try to find a way to transfer and be able to play right away. And to be honest with you, it's already started. Some fallout has already happened at Louisville as of today. Two major recruits have backed out of their commitments and have reopened their recruitment.
You know what? And you heard it right here on Basketball More Than the Game. So don't. Here's the thing: all of you supporters, don't. You know, I appreciate the emails, but you know, you need to. You know, you say, man, who is Coach Quick? You know, Coach Goins, like, who? Matter of fact, it was funny. I got in the office this morning. I forwarded out an email to Mike of, you know, somebody that listened to us somewhere sent a very, very nice email to me in reference to the shows that Mike and I co-host. Is very, very complimentary. And of course, I kicked it on to Coach Quick. But you know, that's why he's on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Not just because he's a former player, because he is a student of the game. He puts his time in, and he's well versed in anything that he comes at you with, and it's always an honor and privilege. I made the mistake before I got on the show when I was asking him about some of his notes, and he was like, "Come on, Coach." So again, he's exactly right. Why wouldn't you? If you were a freshman and you go into University of Louisville and all of a sudden this stuff pops off, why wouldn't you back out? Why wouldn't you say, you know what, I'm taking my show to Durham with them Blue Devils, or drop down to University of North Carolina at Chapel Thrill, as we call it on Basketball More Than the Game. But those are the things that Coach Quick brings to the table. Those are the things that, you know, you as our subscribers, our listeners, our followers, you need to know, and that's why we try to just, you know, we get information like this, we want to stop and break into the action. So here, you know, let's call this out, Mike, if you don't mind. Let's kind of go down this road before we kind of transition. You know, a lot of people will, you know, they'll get on their high horse and say, you know, these coaches make too much money, these guys do. Okay, listen. And again, Coach Goins is not calling anybody out. And Mike, I'm going to say my dime, and I'm going to give you a bounce pass here on the break. But in this, you know, here's Coach Goins' take. You know, yeah, you may be paying these coaches big money, but how much money are the institutions making? You know, you're paying this guy, you know, $4 or $5 million, but how much revenue is the schools making off of TV deals? You know, so in that, you know, let's kind of keep it in perspective. You know, these institutions aren't going broke, but yet these coaches are making, you know, big money, And when a coach steps out of line like this, he should be reprimanded. Should firing be in place? Patino, he has to go home. He has to sit down. He has to look in the mirror. He's been given ample time. He's been given ample time off of several investigations. And when the smoke clears, and I'm in my mind, Mike, I can see him walking up down that sideline with that milk white suit on. But I don't think he ain't too lily white coming out of this one today. So what's your take on the coaches and their salary and what these institutions are providing?
Okay, before I touch on that,
Yes, sir.
let me give you the names of those two recruits who have decommitted from Louisville as of today. Anthony Simmons, he's the number 14 rated player in the class of 2018. He's decommitted from Louisville today, and also Courtney Ramey, a top 50 prospect point guard, decommitted, as well as Auburn has had a decommit today as well. And E.J. Montgomery, a 6'10" power forward from out of Marietta, Georgia, Willard High School. He's reopened his recruitment per his father. And just to piggyback off what you said, Coach Goins, you're right. The NCAA, they're making tons of money off these universities. The coaches are being paid big money. And I just, they're not hurting for anything. So why are you putting it out here and allowing these sponsors to put different money out here for these kids? It's hurting them. And I will say this. All the money that the NCAA and these universities are making, these kids come from poor families, some of them. I'm an advocate for kids being paid and at the collegiate level. Yes, you get a free education and everything, but after you take a look at it, and you look at all the money that the universities are making off these kids, it's unreal. Corruption in college basketball has been going on for years, but it just came out as of yesterday with this big FBI investigation.
You know what, and that's a great call out. And those of you that can remember, and I'm not going to try to remember the date, but I remember as a young kid, there was a Sports Illustrated cover, and if I'm not mistaken, and I'm hopefully I'm not misspeaking, but the name of the article was "Autonomy of a Scandal." And as a young kid, I didn't understand what the word autonomy, but the rim. So imagine this, Coach Quick. There was a basketball rim, and there was nets, and in the nets was just hundreds of dollars of bills, just all in the net. And that was the title of the Sports Illustrated cover, "The Autonomy of a Scandal." So here, Coach Goins going to go ahead and commit to this as a subscriber, a follower of Basketball More in the Game. I'm going to do my research and I'm going to find that out. So the next time we're on the show, I'm going to be able to give you the month and the year that publication came out. But as Coach Quick just said, it's been going on, for years and years and years. Because when you're dealing with it's $1 billion business. And when you get out here, and I agree with Mike, and some people may not, but it's our dime, it's our show, so we're going to say it. When you walk in here and these coaches are making, we're going to go right down the middle of the road and just say the average salary of a college basketball coach, Division I, say it's $3 million, and that's I'm not talking about Coach K and these guys that's making $9 million. So you drop a guy in at $3 million a year. And these kids are going down. I've been in several college locker rooms in my 50 years on the planet, and to walk down and see these young men getting dressed after games, and I see them with not a hem in their pants, but straight pins and bobby pins keeping their cuffs up. And then when I'm talking about in these college locker rooms, I'm talking major Division I college locker rooms, and young men are sitting there with pins. Keeping the cuffs up on their pants, and coaches are making millions and millions of dollars. So that was, and I was a younger man. I was in my early 20s when I saw that. So you looking 20 something years ago when this was going on. But I'm going to jump on Coach Quick's bandwagon. I'm going to be the number one guy on there with pom poms, and also the streamers flowing. These major Division I schools. And, they're bringing in major revenue. You need to be able to give these guys a stipend. I mean, give them $1,000, give them $1,500. But whatever, because they're bringing in major money, and now you're not going to pay them. So when this lines out, and, things pop off, and Coach called it, most of these kids are, coming out of single-parent homes. they've never, once that kid is, 6'8", 6'9", and he's a freshman in high school, these coaches are on him just like, flying molasses, because, then all of a sudden his eyes are popping, and his mom's and whoever his primary caregiver eyes are popping, because they see, hey, my kid may be able to go to the league, and next thing you know, they do a one and done, and then, they're in the NBA, and, that's a different show, a different time. But, Coach Quick has called it, and I support him on his comments in reference to, being paid as a college athlete. And some people say, what about softball, swimming? Well, here's the thing. When the NCAA turns it loose and they become major powerhouse sports, pay them. But until then, you need to pay the guys that that's bringing the money to the institution. So that's where it lands there. So before we get into anything else on that deal, we want to just kind of give a quick shout out to all of our subscribers real quick here on Basketball More Than the Game. We definitely want to be able to say, hey, listen, we appreciate all of our listeners. And again, our base station, which is in our base state, which is the Commonwealth of Virginia, then followed closely up by the headquarters of none other than Coach Quick, and then just across the entire country, all the way. We've got subscribers all the way from New Jersey all the way down to Florida, going across the United States out to California, and then most importantly, Mike and I share the demographics all the time with Coach Quick, and just letting them know we're happy to, and we're pleased to announce that currently we are now in Ireland. And we're also in Australia, and we found out this afternoon we are now in Africa. So listen, we are in the Dominican Republic, Kuwait, Vietnam, Japan. We're eager to tap into China. So anybody, the Netherlands, every place that we are across the globe, we certainly appreciate people stopping and hearing what old Coach Goins and Coach Quick say. We're humble guys. We came from North Carolina. And Coach Quick and I used to sit in the hallway many morning before school started, and we'd be talking about all the things, as it relates to college basketball. But right now, what we're excited about is we're trying to impact the world positively by giving just some insight and some up-close information in reference to the game that we both love and the game that has allowed us to do a lot of things with our life. So with that, we're going to go ahead and spin it into, actually, we're going to do really 4 segments. That first segment was Fast Break. And we're going to call this segment Pick and Pop. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to toss it back over to Coach Quick, and we're going to go down through these 4 assistant coaches that have kind of stepped out into the realm of the FBI. So, Mike, I'll go ahead and toss that over to you, sir, if you'll go ahead and take the lead.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, Chuck Person, assistant coach from Auburn University. A lot of you know he played in the NBA for the Indiana Pacers, and he was a standout at Auburn University before going to the NBA. Now he's back as an assistant coach. He was arrested on yesterday as part of the FBI investigation, as well as Lamont Evans from Oklahoma State University, Emmanuel Richardson from the University of Arizona, and Anthony Bland from the University of Southern California. Also, James Gatto, Director of Global Sports Marketing for Adidas, who was accused of paying families of high school standouts to sign with 2 major universities. They did not list those universities, but it is stated that he paid families of standouts to sign with those universities. And I think U of L, Coach Pitino's head rolled this time around, because the FBI stated that they found, my sources tell me, that Louisville commit Brian Bowen, a 5-star recruit in the 2017 class, received $100,000 that was funneled to him from an Adidas rep in order to get him to sign with the Cardinals. The alleged bribe took place the day of his signing on June 3rd, the same day he committed to U of L.
You know what, folks? And don't ask me why Coach Quick is on the call. Hey, listen, before I jump on, I see my main man, Mr. Mackinson, John the Baptist, from the great island of Haiti, has joined us on Facebook Live. So, Coach Quick, you are now live in Haiti. So we want to definitely give a shout out to Mackinson. He was our interpreter when I was in Haiti, first part of this year. So Basketball More Than the Game, we appreciate you guys in Haiti dialing us in, and we send our love to Mackinson and all of the folks that we met while we were down in Haiti, and hope to see you soon, Mackinson. God bless you, and we appreciate your continued support. So listen, Coach, you know what? So watch this right here. Chuck Person, you know what? Found out today, as I'm going, you know what? Coach Quick.
Yes, sir.
Can I use one of your terms?
Oh, of course.
My sources tell me that Coach Chuck Person made over $23 million when he was in the NBA. So also my sources tell me there was a guy they were calling the Suit Man. And the Suit Man, did you hear about the Suit Man? Like
No,
this,
sir.
all right, like the suit, like a suit. That, all right, I'm gonna walk into a Men's Warehouse and purchase a suit. So there was a Suit Man, and what the Suit Man was doing, say, hey, all right, here's the scenario, folks. So just imagine I'm the Suit Man, and Coach Quick is, he's the assistant coach. So I go up to Coach Quick and say, hey, Coach, man, let me just make you, let me just make you look, super sharp and drop this suit on you. So what I was doing was going in, hooking Coach Quick up with a suit. Then turning back around, and then Coach Quick was doing, giving me, was a little bit of dimes on some of the guys that was rolling into his university. So therefore, it allowed me to have an inside track to these players. And now what they were trying to do from an assistant coach standpoint is to steer these young guys to come talk to the Suit Man. And the Suit Man was rolling them into these agents. So it's just, let's call it what it is. It's just bad from top to bottom. And his coach called it out. These universities, top to bottom, there was 4. And then to roll up and all of them, these guys be arrested. It's I want to say it's greed. Where do you go and where do you have a job? A lot of people get up in America every day and they go to work, Mike, because they have to go to work. There's a lot of people that get up and go to work that don't like what they do every day. That's unfortunate. There's a lot of people that, choose not to work, but then to be able to have a profession. And I know I'm speaking for myself. If I was able to get up and go to work every day for a major university and coach basketball, how come I can't keep my nose clean? So, man, let me set the table for you. So you're sitting there, your phone rings, and then it's Roy Williams, and Coach Williams offers you a job. Now your office is in the Dean Dome. You're a few doors down from Coach Williams. This is your first day on the job. Tell me what is that experience like?
Wow, that would be an unbelievable experience for me, an amazing experience because I'm one of the biggest Tar Heel fans to ever live. So that would just be like wow for me, a wow moment.
And so imagine now. Let's fast forward that. So you've been there, you got a couple of national championships. Now you going out and recruiting. So there you show up only and you pull up your rental car and you get out. And who was the young man that you said that Louisville dropped $100,000 on?
Brian Bowen.
All right, so you roll up on Mr. Bowen and you ring the doorbell and you come in and of course you got your national championship. Of course you're not gonna be tacky. You're gonna be sitting there. You got your khakis on and you got your Carolina shirt. And of course, on your right hand, you got that big old 20. You got that big old national championship ring. Do you ever see yourself like violating that?
No, sir, I couldn't do it. I'm a big fan of the game, and integrity goes a long ways with me. I couldn't do that. I would try to sell him on the university, and if that's not enough for you, then hey. Then you're entitled to go somewhere else.
You know what? That's exactly right, folks. Because here it is. At the end of the day, it's a game, and I understand that you're trying to get guys get guys in the program to win and the demand of winning, and I understand that. But you got to win. You have to win the right way, and that is making sure that your integrity, making sure that everything that is in front of you is squared away, and then your staff. You go out here and you hire these coaches. Watch this. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Let's go ahead and go there. You know what? Let's dream. We're gonna dream big. We're gonna play this game. So I get a head coaching job quick.
Yes, sir.
And so all right, let's just go ahead. This our show, so we can make it pop for us. So they call me and say, "Hey, Coach Goins, we want you to come to the University of Louisville." There's a few people I'm gonna call right off the bat. Who I'm gonna call? All right. And I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to call Bobby Collins, who's at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. I'm going to call Jeff Capel, and I'm going to call Mike Quick and say, hey, here's the guys. I'm going to offer you jobs on my staff. Now, I know one guy I went to high school with, one of my best friends. One of them is a relative, and then I'm going to call Mike Quick. And somebody said, why would you do that? Because I need guys on my staff that, number one, walk, and I know their integrity is a high level. And when I'm not around, I know these guys will always do the right thing. And as college coaches, somebody said, and that's, to me, that's part of your tree. Is when you get big, you need to make sure when you reach back and you get the good apples. And you put guys on your staff that you know. You know, you look at Coach K and you look down his bench. Everybody that's on Coach K's bench has drunk Duke Kool-Aid. You know, you're not going to look down there and I'm going to go ahead and say this. You know, Mike Bray was the only one that's been on Coach K's bench that never played for him. You know, other than that, his guys have drunk Duke Kool-Aid. And people go, what? I said, because he knows. They know him, they know what he stands for, and they know how to run the program. Same thing at Carolina. You know, I'm not going to go out here and take a head coaching job and interview, 15, 20 guys that I really don't know. Oh, I'm going to give this guy a shot. Okay, you know what? I'm going to give him a shot. He need to go teach a kid how to shoot a free throw. But that's my job. That's my livelihood. That's my integrity. And I'm representing the university. So I'm going to make sure that people that are on my staff understand me, understand what we're trying to do as a team, understand not my vision, understand the vision of the university, but we're going to try to put the best quality program. Now, if we get there and we're unsuccessful, if they walk in and say, Coach Goins, we're going to have to, we want to go in another direction. That's fine. I'll pack my bags and I'll roll back to V8. But you won't call Lamont Goins out on the integrity issue. You won't call me out on illegally recruiting a kid. You won't call me out on, well, my assistant coaches are doing this under the table. So for what that's worth, that's how Coach Quick and I would run that. So again, I certainly appreciate Mike doing his due diligence as it relates to the entire deal, as it relates to the coaches, where they were, the guys that decommitted from this whole deal. So you know what? We're gonna take a 30-second break, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, folks, we're live. We're back on now with none other than Mr. Michael Quick. He is coach. I call him Coach Quick, out of the great state of North Carolina. He was one of the assistant coaches. I sat on the bench with this fine gentleman almost about 20 years ago. I was doing some math the other day, and my mind ran across, and I had to pull old calculator out because Coach Goins ain't sharp as it used to be, and realized, I said, it was almost 20-something years ago when we sat down. We rolled up to Ledford, and we had to play. Thomasville and Ledford High School. We'd never beat Thomasville a day in our life, and we rolled up there that night for the conference championship, and we was able to put it on them. And Quick probably will still remember. I'm gonna put him on the spot. We're live right now. Do you remember the score of that ball game?
Can't remember the score, but I believe it may have been 73-67, something like that. I could be wrong.
Because you know what? I think your 76 is right, but I think it was 76 to 53 or 54.
Yes, sir.
I think that may be pretty close to it, but what a great time. And hey, I also want to give a shout out to Mr. Fred Hayes. Mr. Fred Hayes Ray. I see him right. He's got Union Pines High School Vikings football. Watch out now. We spent a little time on that football field. So Mr. Fred Hayes, we certainly appreciate you joining us live on Facebook as we continue to lay this podcast down today. So this is none other than Coach Goins live in the studio in Virginia, and via telephone is none other than Mr. Michael T. Quick. So Quick, you know what? We got to go here, man. A lot of people don't want to go, but we got to go here. We're going to talk about this NFL.
Yes,
you know what? And me, and somebody asked me the other day, and the gentleman that asked me, I have, so much respect for this gentleman. He's actually been on the show. He asked me, he said, Coach, I got a question. I said, go ahead, man. He said, you're a minority. You served the country. How do you feel about the guy not standing up for the national anthem? I said, you know what? That's why we do what we do, to give a person the right to do whatever they want to do. Whether you disagree or you say he should stand, that's not my call. At the end of the day, I can't lose sleep. My schedule's too busy to get hung up on who's going to stand up for the national anthem, who's not going to stand up for the national anthem. I know what I've done for the country, with my service and my family, and I have family members. My brother's still in, my son is in. But if a person chooses not to stand for the flag or the national anthem, they own that. I'm not the judge and I'm not the jury. Then somebody says, "Well, aren't you disappointed?" I say, "You know what? How many gyms have I been in, and guess what? People not stand up for the national anthem, right? I'm sure you've seen it. I've been in plenty of gyms and people don't stand up for the national anthem. And like I told the gentleman, I said, and he looked at me, he goes, "You know what? I never looked at it like that." I mean, because he has how many times the country have gone to war and people not what? People don't support the okay, but then guess what? You still got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
And same thing. I say, how much money have you donated to the cause? For whatever you believed in, how much money? Somebody says, okay, how much money have you donated? If you strongly believe in what somebody's doing, how much money have you donated? I said, this young man is not in the league, and he's donated over $1 million.
Right. Yes,
I said, so in that, guess what? It is what it is. He's donated over $1 million to what he believes in. Now, you may not have $1 million to give, but what have you given for what you believe in? So that's one thing about living in the United States of America. It gives us the privilege to do what we want to do and say what we want to say. But at the end of the day, we've got to be man or woman enough to understand that whatever I do and say, it has consequences. What's your take on that, sir?
My take is you're exactly right. Colin Kaepernick and whomever else decides to kneel for the anthem, they have that right. That's why they fought for our rights to be able to do this. We can stand or we can kneel, and he decided to do that. And first and foremost, we as people, we put a spin on what the guy has done. Colin Kaepernick didn't do this to be disrespectful to our military, to be disrespectful to our flag. He did this to bring awareness to individuals being gunned down by the police in our communities. He did this to bring awareness. That's why Colin Kaepernick did it. Not to be disrespectful to our flag, to be disrespectful to our military, to be disrespectful to our country. That's not why he's doing it.
Right.
And this is just my opinion. The leader of our country doesn't get the right to sit up there and tell our professional athletes what they should and shouldn't do, and then as well as disrespect them and call them out their names.
You're right. You know what? That's go ahead.
That's not his place.
Right. And I agree with you 100% there. Again, leadership starts, and when you stand up there and if you want to say they should be suspended or they want to be, released, that's one thing. But when you start, using, outside the box, if you will, because I'm not going to say it on my show, but outside the box comments, and use those type of words, you know what? And I told one of my buddies the other day, we talked about, I said, it doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me. And here's what I always challenge people. Why does it surprise you? I was sitting there, I was floored, I was devastated that he said that. But why does it surprise you? So here's my call out in reference to the NFL, right? You want to jump out and say, okay, guess what I'm going to do now? I want to take a knee, I want to do this, I want to do that. But as Coach Quick just, he framed it out, that the thing that is such a call out is, you wait till this person gets called out. And then all of a sudden you want to band together because everybody else was looking at what? Well, the guy's walking away, he's going to blow his cost. You know what? That man's he's already counted up his cost. He counted up his cost before he took a knee. Because I'm sure he's intelligent enough to know, hey, you know what? If I take this knee, this is going to cost me X, Y, Z. But and that's what people, they want. Okay, so guess what? You know what? Here's the deal. Oh, they shouldn't be make that kind of money. Okay, they shouldn't be make that kind of money. But yet, as an actor, think about it. If you were the next James Bond, and they're gonna pay you, $55 million to be in the movie, and you're going to be in the movie, a 2-hour movie, and all your lines total, if you talked from the time the movie started to the time the movie ended, you wouldn't talk 30 minutes in the movie and you made $65 million, who wouldn't go jump in that line? But see, we don't want to call out what's going on in Hollywood. But when an athlete makes a move, they're being disrespectful, they're being there. So my thing is, the media will shove it down your throat to make you get on one side or the other. We're not making basketball more in the game politically, and we're not saying that whatsoever. The only thing my call out is, if a person chooses to do what they want to do, then that is that person's right to do so. And if you decide to go do that, then you have to be man or woman to face the consequences. If I want to get my car and go to North Carolina, I want to drive 110 miles an hour. When the man stops me and I got to talk to him out my driver's window, he going to ask for my license registration. I got to be man enough to sign that ticket book. So I have to understand, I got to count the cost for me driving 100 miles an hour. If I want to go out and take a knee, I want to get out and I want to run down the middle of the field, guess what? I got to be understanding, you know what? I'll probably go to jail by running out on the field. So all in all, that is what if he wants to do that, do it. But then we want to put the spin. We want to take, and we want, instead of us being able to enjoy Sunday afternoon ball games, baseball games, college games, now we want to put a whole spin on it to be able to know. What we need to worry about is, it's a sport. And I understand it's $1 billion business, but it is still a sport. We need to focus in on, the citizens in Puerto Rico. We need to take care of the folks in Texas. We need to take care of the folks and put our attention where we need to be putting our attention. But Sunday at 1 o'clock and my Steelers are playing the Ravens, I don't want to hear about that. They play the national anthem, great. If you're going to stand up, let's play the game. But don't start filtering and don't start dipping in when, guess what? It's a record. It's a time for us to escape the madness, to escape your 9 to 5, to be able to sit down and say, you know what? It is a game. Let's sit down and enjoy the game, and let's watch the game. And then don't bring in, the only thing that should be going on, if my Steelers are playing the Skins, me and you should be going back and forth at each other about the ball game. I shouldn't be worried about, oh man, there was 17 people on the Steelers that didn't stand up for the national anthem, and I'm talking back to you and go, hey Mike, there was 15 people that didn't stand up on. You see, then guess what? Now we've turned our attention away from a game that allows us to go back in time and be the young men and cheer for teams like we did when we were in high school and teams that we played on. But now we've taken it, we're making it such a media frenzy, if you will. So it makes a person either get on the right side or the left side and just go at each other. We can't, anytime somebody does something, it's always, it's a racial thing. And I'm just like, why can't we? And that's what I'm fed up with. Why can't we just, anytime you engage in somebody's conversation, they always got to they got to tell you what type, I was talking to a gentleman today. I don't need to say the guy was black. I don't need to say the guy was white. I was just talking to a gentleman. But we, and that's my challenge to you young guys, you young players. When you're playing with a guy, if the guy can shoot, he can shoot. You don't need to say if he was black, white, green. If he can play, he can play. Well, stop that. Drop it where it is. If he can play, he can play. And I'll never forget Coach Capel called that out one time when I think I was a sophomore. He says, I don't care if the dude is pink. He said, if he can put that ball in the hoop, he going to play for me. And that was almost, that was 25, 30 years ago. But bottom line, we get hung up on what a person's saying in reference to the, you know what, just leave it alone. I understand Kaepernick, what he's saying, and same thing, we'll do a quick spin on these monuments. I'm gonna jump on Charles Barkley's deal. Okay, guess what? How many people walked up and knew what how many people even know who the guy is on the horse on the monument? And now you talking about moving it. Leave them statues where they are. They've been there forever. So why are we going to change? Why wake up today and you want to change it? Because 99% of the people don't know who the statue was, and you're going to ride by it and not even stop and get out and read it. And if you're going to get, you know what? And that's the thing. We get focused on so many little things, and we're getting backdoored by everything else. So, you know what? That's our take on that. So what we want to do, ladies and gentlemen, and we certainly appreciate everybody that's dialed into us live on Facebook. And as we continue to lay down the podcast, I have none other than Coach Michael T. Quick. And we're gonna end this thing on a bang. So we're gonna call this last segment In the Paint. And I don't think anybody was happier than Mr. Michael Quick when he seen the headlines. Because I'm going to use this phrase. My sources told me when Dwayne Wade went in there and wrote a check for $8 million and opted out his contract, I said he ain't going but one place.
The
Cleveland Cavaliers. So he left Chi-Town and rolled back over there and reunited with LeBron. So go ahead, quick. Let's talk a little bit about making that transition back to playing with LeBron James.
Yes, sir. And personally, Coach Goins,
Go ahead.
I'm happy to say that D-Wade made the move to go play with Cleveland. And in my opinion, when Chicago started rebuilding, when they traded Jimmy Butler away, let Rondo go, yeah, it was time for Wade to reach a buyout agreement and go and continue to chase a ring, so to speak, as what some of the young folk would say nowadays. And to be honest with you, Cleveland's roster now from top to bottom is far better than it was last season, a year ago. Do I think they can beat Golden State? I'm not sure yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to the challenge to see the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. And it'll be a great finals, great series again. No matter what people may say, Golden State is stacked. Right now, they're the favorites. But if you look at this Cleveland Cavaliers roster from top to bottom, they're a whole lot better than they've been in the last 3 years.
You know what? Yeah, no. I'm gonna go and get on the bus. I'll let you drive. I'm sitting right there. I'm sitting on the passenger side, right over your right shoulder. That's a great call out, folks. Because think about it. As LeBron referred to him this week, the kid. He said the kid wants to. And here's the thing, Coach. I think a lot of people forget Kyrie was in Cleveland before LeBron came. People forget that. People go, what? I go, hey, man. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with a guy today. I said, don't forget, Kyrie Irving was in Cleveland before LeBron came to Cleveland. And again, I told somebody this the other day, I don't care if you take LeBron James and you put that jug on the Philadelphia 76ers, they're going to be in the finals. And people say, what? I said, because when you take great players and you put them around subpar players raises their game. Now, and somebody says, well, they can, they gonna get to the final. I said, you misunderstand what I said. I said LeBron James can go to Philadelphia 76ers. LeBron James could go to the Washington Wizards. LeBron James could go to, I ain't gonna say Sacramento Kings. I ain't going that deep. There's a lot of things that where he could go, and he could do a lot of things because he's the greatest player on the planet, and they can win night in and night out because the night in and night out rotations. It's not a 7-game series, and to Quick's point, which was eloquently put, he's exactly right because right now those guys are built Golden State to win. They can win a 7-game series. And that's what Cleveland has to work toward. Can they beat Golden State in a 7-game series? Because I can roll in anywhere, anytime, and play you one night and win and get back on the plane and go to the next city and do the same thing, and I can repeat that all season long. But when I hit the playoffs and I got to beat you in a 7-game series, that separates the men from the boys. So I've always said this, Coach Quick, is if you're going to be a great NBA team, you have to build that team to be able to win in a 7-game series. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, hey, I totally agree with you. And you have to be built in order to win in a 7-game series. Right now, constructively, Golden State, they're better. They're better. But with what Cleveland has done with their roster, I'm anxious to see them do it again in June for the 4th time. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Will this be the 3rd time they met in the finals or the 4th time? This will be the 4th time.
Yes,
right?
yeah, I think you own it. I think you own it. That's exactly right.
Sir. If they both make the finals, it'll be the 4th time, and I'm looking forward to it. I just think Cleveland now, they put together a roster to where they can compete a whole lot better than they did in last year's finals. And to validate your point, Coach Goins,
Yes, sir.
LeBron James has been to the finals for the last 7 straight years. And ladies and gentlemen, he took a team to the finals where Daniel Boobie Gibson was the 2nd best player on the roster. let me repeat that again, folks. Daniel Boobie Gibson was the 2nd best player on the roster that LeBron James took to the NBA Finals. Let that sink in for a minute.
That's right. Come on, and you know what? So don't call. Here you go. Watch this. Don't hit Coach Goins up and say, "Man, what is going?" I'm telling you, and don't ask me why Coach Quick is on the call because he's gonna call it out. Booby. Somebody said, "Who is Booby? Is Booby still in the league?" You call and tell Coach Goins and Coach Quick is he still in the league. But that's what we're telling you. When you take great players, it allows them to rise to the challenge. Just like I told Coach last time we were on. The big thing there is, guess what? When you look at a guy like Scottie Pippen, man, you just want to go up and hug his neck because he understood, he knew that, you know what, MJ was out there, but he can't do it all by himself. Let's partner up, let's lay it down, and we'll be able to do some great things. And that's exactly what they did, and that's why they were so successful in Chicago. So, hey, you know what? Let's do this right here. I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to Coach Quick for his closing comments. As the old saying goes, we got to get back on the grind. Listen, it's always, I'm going to say this publicly, Coach Quick, it's always an honor and privilege to have not a lot of folks able to do what we're doing, and that's just been able to get together. And as we said, we do once a month, but when stuff breaks like it's been breaking, we're going to come at you. And if we turn around and then more stuff keeps developing, we'll be right back at you again. And we're actually doing a brand new concept today. We're working on our podcast. So this podcast, what we're doing today, will air on Sunday, but we're also doing Facebook Live, and we're on now. And we certainly appreciate everybody that has been on, everywhere from Haiti to anywhere that you dialed into us live. So we want to give you a shout out. Appreciate your support, Brother Fred from back in the old Union Pines Day. Certainly appreciate you jumping on, and everybody else that hit us up while we on Facebook Live. So I'm going to kick it over to Coach Quick for his closing comments.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be on the show today, Coach Goins. Just thoroughly enjoyed it to be able to get on here and address this investigation that's been going on with the FBI and college basketball. But I just wanted to close my closing comments to be about three things, if that's okay with you, Coach.
You got it, sir.
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I just would like to say it's a pleasure and a delight to see that Carmelo Anthony, a talent like that, has been rescued out of New York. With all the junk that's going on in New York for the last several years, I'm happy to see him have an opportunity to go to a team to where they can win. So it's just a blessing to be able to see that. As well as, the Colin Kaepernick situation. If the NFL wants to do something, it was all well and good. Everybody wanted to kneel for the anthem on Sunday. But if you really want to do something, if you want to make a stand, somebody give this man a job. Give him a job. And then, if you give him a job, that's the best thing you can do for him in the world today. Taking a stand or kneel with him, that's fine. But give him a job. As well as I wanted to end the show with the college basketball recruit, Nate Mazuski. He was on campus at UNC this past weekend. Came down to UNC and Notre Dame. Unfortunately for his Tar Heel fans, he chose Notre Dame on today. So best of luck to the young man. Wish him the best in his future endeavors. And just like to say, God bless everyone, and thanks for listening to Basketball More Than a Game.
You know what? And we appreciate you, Coach, and always he does his homework. And like I always say, don't ask us. Just dial it in when you see Basketball More Than a Game, Coach Quick and Coach Goins. You'll dial it. You'll be there. Hey, but before we go, Mike, you know what? I got to drop this in. Hey, if you're looking to be able to come down, and you know what? We're going to challenge everybody that's on Facebook Live that's in North Carolina. If you live anywhere in Moore County, Hope County, Cumberland County, surrounding counties, Coach Quick and Coach Goins will be live at Fayetteville State University on October the 14th. That is correct. Mark your calendars. October the 14th, we'll be having Basketball More Than a Game live on the campus of Fayetteville State University, where the head basketball coach is Mr. Ken Spencer, who went to high school with and also college. But what's going to be going on October the 14th, we're going to have the Capel Camp. And all proceeds will be going to Coach Jeff Capel Sr., ALS Foundation. Now, the camp sponsor is none other than Mr. Jason Capel, who started University of North Carolina, now works for ESPN. So if you're interested in attending the Capel Camp on October the 14th, listen, go to usbahoops.com, usbahoops.com, and register. $20. It's going to be from 9 o'clock till 3 o'clock on the campus. of Fayetteville State University. The information's on Facebook. It's on my Facebook page. I'll shoot it back out. Go to usbahoops.com. All basketball players in attendance, they're asked to bring their own balls. So, hey, listen, we're going to be there. Coach Phil Ford's going to be there. Coach Capel. So we're just going to line them up, shoot them free throws, run some fast breaks, and have some great, great conversations. But before we go, make sure you understand that you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and Facebook, as we're doing Facebook Live right now, thanks to our followers in the United States. Here we go. We're going to go and we're going to hit that foreign market real quick. We want to thank all our folks in Australia, Japan, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Finland, Germany, Dominican Republic, the Netherlands, Kuwait, Canada, Vietnam, Ireland, also New Zealand, and now we are just cracked into Africa this week. So everybody that knows anybody, push this out, push this Facebook Live. So again, only thing we're asking you to do to lean, listen, and learn. This is a free podcast, a free Facebook Live, and we just ask people just to push it on out on behalf of none other than the best co-host in the United States, Coach Mike Quick from the great state of North Carolina. I'm your host. I'm your co-host, Coach Goins from the Commonwealth of Virginia, and we always end this way. I am the way, the truth, and the light. That is John 14:6. And as we always say, on behalf of Coach Quick and Coach Goins, hope to see you October the 14th at Fayetteville State University. And that day, you will definitely see us in the gym. So you be blessed, and we'll see you then.